As for where we should be looking, I rather doubt MS Sub will be sitting around out in the open. I propose we follow the slope down towards the deeper trenches, and keep an eye out for rock formations large enough to house a stronghold. Let's be off then, but watch your footing. The ground is still wet, and like to be slippery. That sounds easy enough. Gasp. Finless ones, they followed me. Ah, so this is where the Ondo make their home. I had wondered. Pray forgive us any inconvenience we have caused. We were not aware of your people living here in the Tempest. We need this great dome of air that we might conduct a most urgent search, and thus beg you for your understanding. Chieftain, what are we to do? Are you emissaries of the Ancient Ones? The mysteries have stirred. We have seen the illuminated land shining through the gloom of the abyss. If you are the emissaries, the chosen, I bid you welcome. If you are not, I bid you leave. I am not sure I understand. Would you be willing to elaborate? It would seem not. I suggest we withdraw for the moment. So what's the plan? Given your condition, I'm reluctant to suggest lingering here. That said, our presently meandering search would proceed far more swiftly. We could call upon the Ondo's local knowledge. Yes, I'd like to know more about this illuminated land the chieftain spoke of. Could it be Emmett Selk's stronghold, do you suppose? Perhaps he lit the lanterns upon his return.
That escalated quickly.
We cannot dismiss the possibility, but if these Ondo refuse to speak with us... Fadewood, do you remember my first scheme for entering Yulmore? Oh, I had planned to ingratiate myself by offering lucrative trading opportunities with Yonder. The individual I dealt with was reticent in manner and curious in custom, but we were able to reach an agreement nonetheless. I believe that with the right approach, we can build a similar relationship here. What kind of approach do you have in mind? That chieftain fellow didn't leave us many options. If we are to tread the swiftest course, then we must needs locate its beginning. Just plain our all too dramatic arrival have thrown this settlement into confusion. Were we to solve such problems as we have caused, assure our hosts thereby that our purpose here is not inimical to them. They may yet prove amenable to reason. I smell chores. Very well, if it can be done quickly. What do you think? I've nothing better to offer, but I do worry what will happen if the Ondo's tales end up leading us to a dead end. I cannot say for certain, but I sense this tribe has a deeper connection to the Asians than first meets the eye. It warrants further investigation. Thus I cast my vote in favor of aiding the settlement for the time being. Then it is settled. Ishtola, pray proceed with your investigations. The rest of us will see about fostering some goodwill. Edwin, you won't believe who I've just bumped into. This is Pashuan, a very fellow I did business with prior to our ill-fated stay in Ulmor. I waited and you did not come. Then the mist came, but his visits did not continue. I'm truly sorry, Pashuan. Things did not proceed as planned. Is there aught we can do for you by way of an apology? Perhaps. Where the dry return, a cavern to the north, is home to giant crabs. We do not fear the crab, for we are the swiftest swimmers. But now there is no water. We run and they scuttle close behind, snipping and snapping with their claws. There are too many of them, too many. I believe I could be of assistance there. And what of you, Fadewood? If you've not found a task, you are most welcome to join me. Indeed, I should appreciate the company. Where the dry return has a rather ominous ring to it. Oh, not Mount Roulette. I wanted to have my Chocobo fight. I like that it marks the mini-map. Your find targets. Could crack their shells. You must be stronger than you look. I see you've reached your quota first again. I shall never be your equal in such tasks. Still, I should say we have reduced the local crab population to a far less threatening number. My thanks to both of you. You must have a reward. Nay, Parshuan. This is to be part of my apology to you, remember? Besides which, the lack of water is our doing, for which we must also make amends. Might I convince you to tell us something about your village instead? I would very much like to learn more of you and your people. Very well. Before the flood came, it is said that our ancestral home was found in the seas to the south. It was utterly destroyed by the light. Only those who were out hunting survived. They swam, aimless and lost, until they spied buildings here on the ocean floor. Strange buildings they were, and long had they stood under the water, yet somehow they had spared the scars of time and current. These structures provided shelter for my people, protection from the tempest-turbulent waters and the predators which hunted within them. Their very existence seemed a miracle. The first settlers pondered their good fortune. It was clear that the race who had built such wonders had guided their course, and from this did they discern the truth. That the ancients had chosen us to serve as caretakers of their eternal sanctuary, until such a time as they returned. Thus it is judged that your coming, in this great vanishing of water, was by the ancients' design, so you will find warm welcome here. A truly astonishing history, yet I cannot help but wonder how will the significance, or otherwise, of our arrival be decided. The ancients have blessed us with protection and prosperity. If your presence serves to bring us the same, there will be no doubt in the matter. Then it would seem our earlier decision was the correct one. We thank you for the lesson, Pashwa, and we will continue to do all we can assist your people. Should you decide to help with any other trouble, pray do not hesitate to ask. We should return to the task at hand, only do not try to overexert yourself, my friend. The risk far outweighs the gain. I had an oopsie double click there, sorry, but we caught it. Oh, thanks for the clip, Rhino. Ah, there are people. They're just flying overhead. Ah, Fadewood, have you learned aught of note? Fascinating, and precisely the sort of information I was hoping to hear. In fact, if you have a moment, I'd like to borrow your eyes to confirm a theory I've been working on. Come. Now, there are two tasks I would have you perform. The first requires you to inspect the buildings which surround the Ondo settlement, and note their most distinctive characteristics. For the second, I wish you to use this knife to take scrapings from one of the remnant walls. Pray be as thorough as you can. I shall be waiting here for the results of your investigations. Inspect the structure of the Ondo cuffs for distinct features. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target building is in the left mouse button. Alright. The tall, slender towers feature many elaborate windows, the likes of which you have seen nowhere else. You set the point of the knife against the wall, but even after applying considerable pressure, you cannot remove so much as a flake of stone. And what have you discovered? Yes, I would agree that the windows are most distinctive. It would seem the structures appear the same to both your sight and mine. And you say that you could not so much as scratch the wall, even with all your might behind the blade. Everywhere I turn in this place, my gaze is drawn by peculiar materials for which I do not have a name. The buildings I had you investigate are prime examples. They may appear to be constructed of ordinary stone, but I assure you it is nothing of the sort. If pressed, I would describe the substance as a composite of several mineral properties, blended to create a material of unparalleled durability. Even the Rankin Empire, once the greatest power in Norvrant, produced nothing which compares to this level of perfection. But if not the Rankins, then who? Who were these ancients the Ondo claim as the architects of their sanctuary? I suspect our answer lies with the reason Emmett Selk withdrew here to the Tempest. He may simply have wished to retreat somewhere mere mortals could struggle to reach. But there are many such remote locations. Why here, specifically? Emmett Selk is devoted to his role, and thus we might assume his choice of stronghold somehow serves the Ascian agenda. Or mayhap, it is a place more dear to him than any other. That is my theory, that these structures are remnants of a time before history, of a star that was yet whole and unbroken. Such traces on the source would have been obliterated by the succession of umbral calamities, but here in the first they might have remained untouched for millennia. A copy of the mural in the Katana Ravel. Ahmed presented it to me during my visit to Fano, after our victory in Kalusia. Here in the first scene, by Emmett Selk's own words, it depicts a city of eons past and the disaster which befell it. The design is much simplified, of course, but do you see the similarities between its towers and those you have just inspected? We are close to the truth, I feel. Let us search the surrounds for another tower, one which matches the picture near enough to remove all doubt. From what I have seen, not more than sand and more sand lies to the east, and the south held no such structures. I suggest we try our luck further to the northwest. You may view the Katana Ravel mural at any time during the quest by using the relevant items in the key items menu. The quest destination will not be displayed on the map. You must search for a structure which resembles the buildings in the mural, then inspect it from the survey point. The survey point will be found nearby, in a location which allows a full view of the structure. Yes. Yes. Aye, this is the mural writ large. Though I cannot guess at its purpose, it must have been an imposing sight. How much of the tower's height lies hidden beneath the ground, I wonder? Centuries of our history have settled upon such ruins. Countless layers of dust and sediment. An entire civilization, its existence forgotten by all except a handful of Asians. And yet it did exist. They lived here, in this city. But let us focus on what we've learned thus far. The Ando chieftain spoke of mysteries stirring, of a land illuminated. Judging by his words, he believes this phenomenon related to the Ancients' return. Thus can we surmise that what the Ando saw shining in the abyss was, in all likelihood, yet another remnant of this age-old civilization. And who else would light the lanterns, as Irene put it, than Emmett Selk himself? 'Tis almost certain he is here. I would not have seen this as the picture in the image in the picture. So I'm glad I was lucky there. Could have been hours. Put in general chat, alright, thanks. Oh, there's an ether current right here. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. But if we are to find this stronghold in a timely manner, it seems gaining the Ando's trust remains our swiftest path forward. I only hope our deeds are enough to win them over. Thank you for assisting me with my investigations. I shall seek out our companions and share what we have learned. Much as I would like to tell you to sit down and leave the rest to us, your condition demands that we make all reasonable haste. If you are not too weary, it may be useful to speak with Pashawan again, and ask if there is aught else he is willing to divulge. Alright, Pashawan. Alpha knows, friend. You and your companions have done much to repair the damage caused when the waters parted. Anything else you can do? Have you been to the walls of the Forgotten? Yes, that is the sacred site of which I speak. Could it be that your footsteps were guided there by the Ancients? I believe it may be so. Listen then, and I will tell you of our plans to bring light to the walls, that we might answer the shining call of the illuminated land. We have requested a finless craftsman to shape for us a sacred lamp. He is odd for a land dweller, choosing as he does to live in the ocean, but his skill is beyond question. It is concerning, however, that we have heard nothing of his progress. If you were to visit this artisan and return with our long-awaited light, then any doubt as to your purpose will be laid to rest. His name is Grenout. You will find his workshop in a metal structure to the south. Certainly. It's the whole thing. Is this a door? It's a door. Is this a door? It's a door. Would have felt real weird. I just slammed into it. Look at this place. This place looks awesome. Oh, that's just great, that is. My mind's playing tricks on me now. Look, Grenout. Someone's come to visit you at the bottom of the bleeding ocean. Or might be as you're a ghost, eh? Go on, foul shade, feast yourself on my rotten soul. I've got no use for it. A craftsman what can't craft is more pointless than a sea slug with a dome and hammer. And that's an insult to bloody sea slugs. Grinold appears to be suffering from a crushing bout of self-doubt. Maybe you can help psych him up. Level 91. And I'm doing emote quests. Or sea slugs. Psych! Eh? You wouldn't be trying to raise my spirits now, would you, spirit? Not what you'd expect from a servant in the netherworld. Might be as we cross paths back in the Crystarium, but I don't reckon we've been formally introduced. Name's Grinold, and this here's meant to be me underwater sanctuary, a place where I can give myself over to my work, far from the distraction of the outside world. And yet here you stand. Now what's so damned important that you dive all the way down to the bottom of the bleeding tempest to bother me? Ah, the Ondo's lamp. Gods curse me empty head. I've not so much as made a start. I'm worth less than a sea slug. Nay, the slime left by a sea slug. My delivery date's long past, my workbench is untouched, and I call myself a bleeding artisan. You've heard your beliefs, have ye? Bringing light to them ruins will be an act of deep religious and cultural significance. And it was my privilege as a craftsman to be tasked with providing a ritual instrument worthy of the occasion. But I just can't bloody well. Ah! My mind's a bleeding blank. It's like I pissed away my last drop of inspiration. Tell me you've got something to show me. Someone that'll give me a muse right good. Tell me you've got something to show me. Someone else will give me muse a right good kick up the arse. Yondo went to honor the coming of these ancients, so their answering lights got to blaze with the right kind of brightness. Like the spark of life caught in a crystal. But just being sparkly is not enough. It's got to dance with joy and sorrow and a sense of hardship endured. You know what I mean? Grinold seeks a particular kind of inspiration, the kind that crystallizes only the culmination of a long and tragic tale. Complete any of the role quest lines available at the Wandering Stairs in the Crystarium, then return to Grinold once more. No! I gotta come back? Where even am I right now? There's no fast travel straight here. Oh, tits. You look like a DPS. I mean, that looks like a new emblem, so I guess that's what I need to do. Sirig is eyeing you inquisitively. Let me guess, you're standing in front of Sirig, bounty hunter nonpareil, because you got a mind to aid me in felling the dread Phronesis. Do I have the right of it, or do I have the right of it? What's this? If I didn't know better, I could have sworn you just suggested that you're unfamiliar with Phronesis. But that couldn't be. No sinner worth her salt could be so ignorant. Allow me to elaborate. Phronesis isn't just your run-of-the-mill stray sin-eater. He's one of the nastiest this realm has ever seen, born from the remains of one of those gods-damned warriors of light. There are 4 of them all told, crawled up from the bowels of the deepest hell after being buried for nigh on a century, if the tales are true. People have come to call them the cardinal virtues. Before he was transformed into a Sin Eater, Phronesis was none other than Archmagus Neobert, whose baleful magics were feared the realm over. Though he's only been a few short years since he first showed up in Amarang, he's already preyed on far too many innocents with his foul sorcery. Not keen on seeing their trade routes disrupted, the local merchants have placed a healthy bounty on his head. Of course, I'd like nothing more than to fell the fiend single-handedly and claim the entire bounty for myself. Unfortunately, circumstances have dictated that I recruit a companion. That's where you come in. Provided that you can prove to me that you possess the rather specialized set of skills that I require, promise I'll make it worth your while. Not a bad offer, wouldn't you say? If you fancy yourself up to the task, come find me in Amarang. I mean to set off for there shortly. So you came. It's good to see someone who isn't all talk. It's fortunate to have it another Sin Eater, a far less imposing specimen than Phronesis, of course, has been sighted just to the west of here. Prove to me you have the skill to back up your words, and we'll talk further. You sense a hostile presence. And it's gone. Good show, friend. Wasn't sure what to expect from you, but seeing you in battle has left me with little doubt. As soon as I found myself a formidable ally, so I'll extend the offer in earnest. Help me hunt down Phronesis, and we'll split the bounty down the middle. Oh, what do you say? That's the spirit. There's more you should know before you proceed. Come with me to Mordsook, my base of operations, and I'll fill you in on the details. Welcome to Mordsook, friend. As you can see, it's a bustling trading post frequented by merchants from across the realm. At least it was before Phronesis showed up and started preying on unwitting travelers. Hence the bounty, you see. The lucrative reward has attracted the attention of one capable bounty hunter after the next, yet the fiend still roams free. You can probably imagine why. Those few who have seen Phronesis and returned to tell the tale speak of the great horrors they witnessed. Cavernous black holes materializing out of thin air, swallowing everything around them into the abyss. People have taken to calling them the Hollows. Rumor has it that one barely has time to lay eyes on Phronesis before he summons forth the Hollows, which proceed to consume everything in sight. And I do mean everything. Just the other day, an entire caravan was devoured by the Hollows, leaving only nothingness behind. Mages have postulated that these holes are literally tears in the fabric of a reality, gateways to other worlds, to put it another way. At any rate, suffice it to say that the next man to come back from the void will be the first. And yet there's something odd about it all. Witnesses say that Phronesis doesn't simply go out of his way to prey on people or settlements. He simply shambles across the wastes, summoning hollows one after the next, and the destruction follows as a matter of course. Needless to say, drawing too near to the fiend is tantamount to suicide. Even attacks from afar have been all but futile, as Phronesis simply summons the hollows to consume every incoming arrow. With every conceivable means of attack foiled, even the most savvy bounty hunters have all but thrown up their hands, even though the bounty now stands at some 9 or 10-fold the original amount. I'm of a different mind, however. The way I see it, if only there were a way to neutralize the hollows, we'd more than stand a chance against Phronesis himself. This is why I require your services. Your easy triumph over the Sin Eater spoke clear. You're a mage of no common skill. If anyone has the arcane knowledge and aptitude to help me figure out a way to defend against the hollows, that's you. Don't worry, I fully intend to shoulder my share of the burden, and so I plan to gather all the information we need before asking you to put yourself in harm's way. With that, I best get to work. Once I formulate a proper plan of attack, we'll talk again. Until then, I suggest you continue to hone your casting skills. The battle that awaits us will not be an easy one. Voice from the void. Ah, there you are, and your timing couldn't be better. As luck would have it, a little bird told me that Phronesis was sighted in the vicinity not long ago. Don't you worry, I have no intention of rushing in like a fool. My plan is to shadow the Sin Eater from afar, but we might observe the hollows with our own eyes and formulate a suitable plan of attack. To that end, I procured this mannequin here from a merchant acquaintance of mine at the Crystarium. By setting it on Fernice's trail, I mean to gauge just how wide of a berth we must keep from the fiend so as not to be sucked up into the void. Shed no tears for the little fellow, friend. His sacrifice will be the key to our success. And yet, as you can see, he's not quite the best state in the base. Shed no tears for this little fellow, friend. His sacrifice will be the key to our success, and yet as you can see, he's not quite in the best state of repair. Pray lend me a hand in procuring what we need to get him back on his feet. You're a lifesaver, friend. I just spotted a nasty-looking Samskin Sibylle lurking about to the east of here. I do believe one of their tendons should serve well to put some spring back in the little fellow's step. Snag one for me and I'll see to the repairs. We've got all the, basically good big amongst divine beings. Dear divine beings. Any luck finding that tendon? For my part, I've acquired something that should serve as a makeshift gear. Cost me an arm and a leg, but hey, if it helps us claim that bounty in the end, it'll be more than worth it. Perfect. Yes, I reckon this is durable and elastic enough to replace the mannequin's snap drive belt. I'll fetch my toolbox and get started straight away. In the meantime, why don't you scout us a suitable location for a lookout point? Bernice's was last sighted just southeast of town. Try to find us a spot on higher ground out of sight from the main thoroughfare. Hello there, friend. As you can see, our clockwork friend is back in tip-top shape. And since it appears you found us the perfect lookout spot, why don't we get down to work? I'll kindle us a fire. We might be here for a while. Well, I'll be. There's the bastard. Look closely now and hold your gaze. You must witness the sheer horror with your own two eyes. No, we mustn't send out the mannequin too soon. If Renasus sees it, he may well blast it to bits before it has a chance to investigate the hollows. There he goes. I'll send the mannequin in to trail him. Let's sit back and enjoy the show. Just as I expected. Gone without a trace. Shed no tears for our little friend. For his sacrifice, we now know just how much distance we must keep from the hollows to avoid being sucked into the void. Now it's our turn. Let's edge a bit closer and see what we can observe. Mind you, take care not to wander too close, lest you fancy a vacation to a dark, shadowy abyss. It's as if a shadowy whirlwind rages inside, ready to suck anything and everything into the void. I've seen many a horrific sight in my day, but this sends a shiver up the spine. Let me out. It's so dark in here. Why the pale face, friend? You look as if you've seen a ghost. A voice, you say? From inside the hollow? But that's impossible. Is anyone out there? Please help me. Help me get out of here. Was that a voice? Is someone out there? If you can hear me, please. You must help me. I can't see anything. No road, no trees. Not even an ether current to follow. Which way do I go? How do I get out of this place? This voice. What in the God's name is he saying? The voice of a boy, you say? Claims he's lost inside with no ether current to follow? Sounds like he's adrift in the flow, not unlike what would happen if an aetherite, to which one was teleporting, was destroyed in mid-journey. Wait a minute. What if there was some way you could channel your ether into the void? Might that not allow your etheric form to serve as a beacon of sorts to guide the child back to us? Of course, not that I know how we'd go about that. You reckon you could just do that? I wouldn't even think of asking how. Do your damnedest. Wicked White. I knew you were no ordinary sinner, but even still you find ways to surprise me. Where am I? Well, I'll be damned. There was a child inside. Our little expedition has left us with more questions than answers, eh? But for now, this boy needs our care. Let's carry him back to Mort Sook and find him a warm bed and some nourishment. The boy's resting now. He's weak but not wounded, at least as far as I can tell. Needless to say, his presence raises questions. Are the others trapped on the other side of the hollows? If so, might they also be returned to our world alive? There's much we must ask him when he wakes. On another subject, this might be an odd question, but have you ever looked after a child before? You don't say. In that case, he's all yours. I'm jesting, friend. Can't very well tie you down here forever. Worry not, I'll manage somehow. I suppose the first order of the day should be to get some food in his belly. He does look terribly pale after all. Methinks I'll go hunting for some meat. No, perhaps I should take him to a physician first. After all, he may be suffering from some ailment inscrutable to the eye. Or maybe I should... Damn it all, I knew I wasn't cut out for this. There you are. You'll be happy to know that the boy is awake. It seems to be no worse for the wear. Physically speaking, at least. Just one rub, you see. He has no recollection of where he came from, or just how he managed to get swallowed up into the void. In fact, other than his own name, Tainer, he can't remember much of anything at all. He seems a good lad, mind you. He eats my half-hour's cooking with a smile and nary a word of complaint. Yet I reckon he's hurting inside, and badly. Must reunite with his parents in all due speed. I suggested that he go for a stroll around Mort Sook in the hopes that the sights might help jog his memories. He can't have wandered far. Why don't you go check up on him? I'll leave that kid to just stumble into the void again? Do not tell me you're the one who rescued me from the flow, yes? I feel from you the same warmth that reached out to me when I was adrift in the ether. Well, I'll be damned. The boy is a sharp one. And that's not the least of it. The carer who examined him said they could feel great power welling up from within him. Despite his young age, Tainer here seems to possess a remarkable command of the magical arts. Perhaps I do, and yet I cannot say. Try as I might, I cannot recall anything of who I am or where I came from. Only the darkness. No need for apologies, boy. You did well just to make it back to us. Speaking of which, can you remember anything at all what you felt while you were adrift in the void? That I remember, or at least I think I do. I recall a vague sensation of someone passing alongside me. Indeed, I believe this is what roused me from my slumber. The hollows truly are a gate between worlds. That would mean that someone recently traveled from ours to another, or from another to ours. But that's not possible, or is it? You know something I don't, friend? Worry not, I won't pry for details. Well, no sense racking our brains over matters beyond our comprehension. Let's concentrate on what we can do, namely finding the boy here at home. No doubt his memories will come back to him in due time. You truly do that for me? But the two of you have already saved my life. I couldn't possibly burden you any further. It's no burden at all. Besides, we can figure out just who you are and where you came from. It just might lead us to the answers we seek. Now let's consider the options. One possibility is that you're an orphan, all alone in this world with not a soul to care for or look after you. And yet this seems unlikely. Yet the mystical powers you possess say otherwise. If you are truly as skilled in magic as they say, then it stands to reason that someone trained you in the art. Who is this master of yours? And whether you are of their blood or simply receive their tutelage, this cannot say. But either way, I'm certain they're worried sick about you. If that's truly so, I'd very much like to meet this person too. That settles it then. Let's get down to business. I took the liberty of inquiring around where Sook in the Crystarium. Unfortunately, there have been no reports of missing persons matching Tanner's description, which means we have no choice but to take our search elsewhere. I know of a merchant in town whose travels often take him far afield. Let us have a talk with him to see if he's heard any helpful rumors. Rumors of missing boy, you say? Funny that you ask. It's a long shot, I reckon, but I overheard something the other day that might be of use. On my way to Mort Sook, I stopped over the inn at Journey's Head. There I met an ailing mage. As the carers told it, he'd been ambushed by a sin eater, and was separated from his child in the battle. Bloody hells, could it be? If the sin eater that attacked the poor man was Phronesis, that would explain everything. This man you speak of, he could be my father? We must go to him at once. Agreed. I only hope that the man is... No, there's no point in presuming the worst. Let us make for the inn, and see what the carers there can tell us. Oh there! I hear there's a mage in your care who's lost his boy. I do believe we have him right here. I fear there must be some mistake. The boy in question has already been found. This is him, right here. What? So was my father after all? This boy with you, he too has been separated from his family? Just so. We heard that a man here was looking for his son, and we just hoped. Alas, it seems it wasn't meant to be. There are many people here, yes? Might I ask around and see if any of the others are my family? But of course, yet many of the people here are quite ill, and in many cases in considerable pain. It is not a place for a young child to walk around unattended. Indeed, it's not. Guess that means either myself or Faywin here should accompany him. I'll go with him. The walk might help me take my mind off things. Not a bad idea, if the lad doesn't mind. I reckon Tanner would rather be with someone of his own age. his mind off things. Speaking of which, how's the boy's father holding up? I fear the poor man has already departed on his journey. He is a man no longer. The child insisted upon staying by his father's side until the last. I permitted this out of respect for him, but part of me regrets the choice. None so young should suffer such horrors. It was some small solace to learn that he has living relatives who reside at the Crystarium. In fact, I was just making preparations to escort him there myself. I see. Reckon we should also find someone to look after Tanner as well. Don't get me wrong, friend. I haven't given up on the prospect of finding the boy's family. But we have no other leads, and a deadly sin eater still on the loose. If the lad tags along with us every step of the way, he's far more likely to end up dead or worse than to ever reunite with his family. Here's what I propose. We find someone to watch after Tanner for the time being, get back on the hunt, and gather whatever clues we can about his origins along the way. Aye, that goes without saying. Let's have a talk with the proprietor of the Wandering Stairs. He's a kindly enough chap and knows damn near everyone in these parts. With any luck, he'll be able to direct us to a willing and able guardian. Look, I don't like this any more than you do, but it's the best we can do for the boy given our circumstances. At any rate, let's find him and share the news. Don't worry, it's my decision and I intend to take responsibility for it. Bad news, friend. It seems the two young ones got into a quarrel of sorts and Tanner's up and run away. It seems the lad mentioned how he'd come out from one of the hollows. The other boy put two and two together and figured out he'd been attacked by a sin eater. Then I said... Oh, it's the boy. Then I said my dad was attacked by a sin eater, and then he turned into one himself. So I asked, what if you turned into a sin eater too? Tanner's face went all white. He kept saying, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" over and over and over again. I couldn't take it anymore. Before I knew it, I was shouting at him, "Shut up! Just shut up! I bet you're turning into a sin eater already." Why? Why did I say such a mean and nasty thing? Don't be so hard on yourself, lad. Both of you had a rough go over these past few days. No one could blame either of you for feeling a bit on edge. But we must hurry and find Tanner before he comes to harm. Let's split up. I'll search the west and you take the east. Be careful out there. Said I'm not diagnosing. You gotta join Patreon for that. When I heard the clamor of battle, I feared the worst, but I see you have everything under control. Are you okay, lad? Forgive me. I don't deserve this kindness. I was just so scared. I was worried about what would become of me if I never recovered my memories. Then I started thinking, what if I ended up like that boy's father? What if it's already happening to me? That's one matter you needn't worry yourself with. The carer who examined you told me as much. You suffer no direct wounds. You're in no more danger of turning into a sin eater than Fadewind or me. Is that so? It's good to hear. But I must apologize to that boy. I should have known better than to badger him about such things, especially after what happened to his father. It's a funny thing that he was saying the same thing about you. You both have good hearts, lad. You've been through more than any man should. There's no need to be ashamed of your feelings. There's still so much I do not understand about this world. Why does no one here know me? Am I doomed to be alone the rest of my days? Why must it be this way? If only I could remember something, anything! I'm sick of not knowing who I am. I'm sick of being alone. Now it's your turn, Tainer. Do not be disheartened by your last attempt. Even the greatest of mages have known failure. You command a magic is to equal my own. If I can succeed, there's no reason why you cannot. Free your mind of worry and focus. Thank you, Neobert. I shall try my best. Wicked White, you were right, Fadewind. I remember now. I was standing here on these blighted plains, my head hung low in shame. Then Yubber turned to me with a smile and heartening words. Yubber, why does the name sound so familiar? I reckon we've much to discuss, but not in this god's forsaken place. Let's head back to the end and see if we can get to the bottom of this. Tanner, you alright? I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said those nasty things. Forgive me for reacting as I did. I'm fine. In fact, I seem to have recovered some of my memories. Really? That's wonderful. Maybe you won't feel so scared and alone anymore. I'm leaving to go live in the Crystarium with my relatives. Promise me you'll come visit. I mean, after you get your memories back and all, of course. It's a promise. Until next time, my friend. I knew that you two would work things out. Now let's return to Mortsuk. We have more than our share of questions that need answering. As I saw, at first she fainted all of a sudden. When you came to, a portion of Tanner's memories had returned. What in the world happened out there? Power to look into the past, eh? And you're certain that what Fadewind described matches up with your recollection of the past? I don't know how to break this to you, lad, but your friend Yubber was with you that day? He's no ordinary boy. He's none other than the very man who became Phronesis, one of those goddamn warriors of light. If he was just a young child in your memories, that means what you saw took place over 100 years ago. Would that it were just a coincidence, another boy with the same name. But no, judging from the formidable command of magic, we can only assume it was him. On the way back, I managed to recall some more about Nyubert and myself. We were taken in by a group of mages, a consortium of sorts. They were searching for a means to open a hole to another world, and were recruiting young children with high magical aptitude for the task. Nyubert and myself were the two they chose. You can't be serious! And yet that would explain the Sin Eater's ability to summon those damned hollows. If you possess the same knowledge and training as Nyubert did, it could also explain why you were able to survive in there all that time. What I don't understand is, why haven't you aged at all? I cannot say for sure, and yet my memories are slowly coming back to me. In time I may be able to help you find a way to close the hollows. You'd be a lifesaver if you could. But don't overburden yourself. You're still recovering after all. In the meantime, don't worry. Faywin and I will see that you're safe. I thought Tanner was just a victim of the Sin Eater. To think he was actually friends with the man himself, back when he was still a man. This can't be a simple coincidence. Yes, I'm convinced of it now. The child holds the key to defeating Phronesis. We must keep him safe, and not let him out of our sights. Besides, look at how hard he's trying to recover his memories. I'm not so heartless as to kick the poor lad aside before he figures matters out. But we can't very well rush things. You and I will continue to prepare for the battle ahead, while waiting for the rest of Tanner's memories to come back to him. That is to say, if it's alright with you, lad. I'm sorry, I couldn't possibly burden you any further. Look, lad, I've only known you a short while, but I can tell you've got a good heart, and a good head on your shoulders. I can only begin to imagine the horrors you've been through, not to mention the fears and uncertainty you face even now. But I want you to promise me this, no more apologies. You're no burden to us, not in the least. You're a valuable member of our band. As long as you're willing, I want you with us. Isn't that right, Faywin? I see. Thank you, Sarek. Thank you, Faywin. I will aid your quest in whatever way I can. Now that's more like it. We're counting on you, lad.